Welcome. I am Ask Dr. Victoria Hart. I thank you so much for tuning in today. I give my resources from the Bible, Wisdoms of World Religions, as well as the Course in Miracles. As I speak on spiritual laws for personal and business success, I consider them ageless wisdoms and the laws of nature, and I've lived by them myself to let you know how really a blessing it is to live a natural life, as well as it makes things easier. And it just seems like as you merge with the divine, things start happening for you in a miraculous way. As Einstein puts it, quote, "The most beautiful and profound emotion we can experience is the sensation of the mystical. It is the sower of all true science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who cannot no longer wonder and stand in awe, is as good as dead. To know that what is impenetrable to us really exists, manifesting itself as the highest wisdom and the most radiant beauty, which our dull faculties can comprehend only in their most primitive form. This knowledge, this feeling, is the center of true religiousness." And like I said, that was said by Albert Einstein. Also, author and businessman W. Clement Stone, who lived 100 years, has had plenty of experiences. Quote, "Your most precious and valued possessions and your greatest powers are invisible and intangible. No one can take them. You and only you alone can give them, and you will be handsomely rewarded and receive abundance for your giving." Unquote. Today we're going to talk about the infinite in all directions. Humanity has often allowed itself to think in terms of limitations, boundaries, and restrictions. Since we live with all these fences that surround our properties and traffic signals and speed bumps and limits, lines on a map, and differing cultures separate states and countries, and religious beliefs can cause separations and misunderstandings between individuals. However, obstacles and limitations are relative and can be surmounted as humanity's progress. For example, the edge of the world was pushed back and finally eliminated by courageous explorers who dared to venture into the unknown. Astronomers pushed back the earlier belief in a dome-shaped firmament hovering the world and gave us knowledge in galaxies millions of light years away. Present-day physicians assure us that a lifespan over 100 years is conceivable. In fact, 100th birthday celebrations are doubling every 10 years. Athletic records are being surpassed so rapidly that one would wonder if there is any limits left. It may be difficult for us to imagine the small quantity of knowledge and the limited concept of the cosmos that was prevalent when the scriptures of the major religions were written. This thought raised the question, do our wonderful scriptures need to be supplemented by further information about our universe and humanity? Teilhard de Chardin called for a new theology that would incorporate the modern scientific discoveries of the immense of space, which imbues our accustomed ways of looking at things with a strain of universalism. And the progress, duration of time, he introduces the idea of possible unlimited progress, which some people call futurism. Because of these two concepts, universalism and the futurism, D. Chardin believed we now possess a higher and more organic understanding of the cosmos, which could serve as a basis for new spiritual belief. Life is consciousness. When our consciousness is focused on lack or limitation, then these conditions tend to manifest in our life. The great prophets and teachers of the ages taught us to search for an unseen power, an activity far greater than ourselves. Many people may think someone, some condition, some circumstance, some event, or some joy controls their prosperity. We can agree that our supply comes to us through people and conditions acting as channels for good. But we can look deep within and know beyond a doubt that we were created without limitation, regardless of outer appearances. When we understand God as the source, we do not panic if the channel for our supply changes. Instead, we can search for opportunities, ask for guidance and direction, and be receptive to new avenues for our good. And this is very relevant for these days and times. I think everyone on the planet feels something is changing, something is growing, something that has to be done differently. All of this speaks of the truth of another law of life. Quote, there is no limit in this universe, unquote. In fact, we may say that this is a law of no limitation. Instead of focusing on our shortcomings, limitations, thoughts, illness, lack, would it seem wise to focus on thoughts of abundance at times like this? Observe the many people-made objects, from buildings and bridges and automobiles, ships, computers, high-tech equipment, lasers, etc. Now look beyond those creations. Can you visualize the vastness of the resources from which these things are created? And comprehend that the greatest of these human resources is the intelligent mind. Our minds are filled with ideas and thoughts that show us how to build or create the things our imaginations cannot conceive. If our attitude is open for new understanding, fresh stimulation, and acceleration of discovery, we currently have no idea of what discoveries can be accomplished. I have the joy of living right near a college campus, and even my previous resident in Fairfield, Iowa, actually lived on campus. It is so nice being around viral young people who just know they're going to change the world. This fresh stimulation and acceleration of discovery are evident in their ideas to change the world and make the world a better place. As William James also discussed, quote, most people live, whether physically, intellectually, or morally, in a very restricted circle of their potential being. They make use of a very small portion of their possible consciousness and of their soul's resources in general, much like a man who, out of his whole bodily organisms, should get into a habit of using and moving only his little finger. Great emergencies and crises show how much greater our vital resources are than we had supposed to be, unquote. And that was William James. They say we use less than 10% of our brains. So can you imagine when we have all of these high-tech equipment and all of these things that have come and that have from automobiles, ships, airplanes, and they're coming from this invisible source, their ideas, this law of no limitations. Just think if one of us or all of us tapped into that, how quick we could change the world to be a better place. And as Mandino says, quote, extend to each person, no matter how trivial the contact, all the care and kindness and understanding and love that you can muster, and do it with no thought of anything in return, because your life will never be the same. It's you who receive the blessing, unquote. Mandino was an author I personally met, and he lived from 1923 to 1996 and discussed often of his experiences and the things that he learned. I pray that today you received something that touched your heart, that ignited your soul, that toward your mission and your purpose for being. These are just foods for thought, seeds to plant, that you are just so much more than what we were taught, these bodies, these limitations, and it is just time to kind of break through the glass ceiling. I know what's going on the planet now is you want more than you had before. So hopefully these words touch your heart and your soul, and I look forward to talking, or I should say, you hearing me again. Hopefully we'll meet in person soon. Take care, God bless, and enjoy today.